بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأراضين. Alhamdulillah, we have tawfiq to continue our study of Mafatih al-Hayat by Ayatollah Jawadi Amuli. And this chapter, as you remember, is chapter 5 on cleanliness. And we already had one session on this. We want to continue about cleanliness and tidiness in the society. So in addition to our personal cleanliness and trying to keep our home clean and hygienic, so we should also make sure that when we go out in public, especially in the places that many people gather, like mosque, we would be keeping ourselves very tidy, looking nice, smelling nice, and also keep that space clean also and nice. And as you know, because the day of Jum'ah is a very important day, it's a blessed day, it's a sacred day, it's Eid, and also people go for Salatul Jum'ah, and also it's a holiday, so it's very much recommended that day of Jum'ah, people do ghusl of Jum'ah, people make themselves very tidy and look nice, dress well. For example, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, لِيَتَزَيَّنْ أَحَدُكُمْ يَوْمَ الْجُمُعَةِ. Each and every one of you should beautify himself or herself on the day of Jum'ah, يَغْتَسِلْ, to make ghusl, وَيَتَطَيَّبْ, use nice perfume. Of course, if a lady is going to be close to strangers, then of course they should not use a perfume that would be stimulating or attracting the attention towards them. But women among themselves and men for themselves. وَيُسَرِّحْ لِحْيَتَهُ وَيَلْبَسْ أَنْظَفَ ثِيَابِهِ. They should comb their hair, they should comb their beard, they should put on the cleanest and the best dress that they have. The focus is أَنْظَفَ ثِيَابِهِ, that those clothes which are cleanest. The focus is not on having expensive clothes or very special material. No, the main thing is that whatever you have should be well preserved and look nice and clean. فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ يَطَّلِعُ عَلَىٰ أَهْلِ الْأَرْضِ لِيُضَاعِفَ الْحَسَنَاتِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment look at the people on the earth to multiply the rewards. So in such a great day, it's better if you are in your best shape and form and appearance. We have also lots of hadith about, for example, when is better to cut your nail and things like this, that those who are interested, they can refer to our hadith about this, and in the book also they are mentioned. The next thing is, there is a heading about Prophet's seerah, Prophet's conduct. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was very, very careful and particular about his health and about his appearance. As you know, he didn't have any luxurious life. He had very simple life. But still, he proved that it is possible to have simple life, but to be always tidy, look well, smell well. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is quoted as saying, "Hubbiba ilayya min dunyakum." He says, from this world, there are few things that are made dear to me. They are, loved by me. One is at-tib, perfume. Rasulullah very much loved perfume. But وَجُعِلَ قُرَّةَ عَيْنِي فِي الصَّلَاةِ. But what gives really joy to me is prayer. Rasulullah used to brush his teeth, and many times. For example, there is one hadith that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam كان لا ينام إلا والسواك عند رأسه. He was not sleeping unless brush was close to him. فإذا نهض بدأ بالسواك. When he was getting up, the first thing he was doing was to brush his teeth. Or for example, in one hadith says, كان صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم يستاك كل ليلة ثلاث مرات. Just in the night, every night he was brushing his teeth 3 times. مرة قبل نومه, once before going to bed. ومرة إذا قام من نومه إلى ورده, once also when he was waking up from his sleep for his tahajjud, for his a'mal, for his special acts that and zikr that he had in the middle of the night. وَمَرَّةً قَبْلَ خُرُوجِهِ إِلَى صَلَاةِ الصُّبْحِ. Also once before he was leaving home to go to the masjid for Salat al-Subh. So 3 times in the night he was brushing his teeth, although he was not eating in the night. It's not that every time he was eating. No, even if you don't eat, you have to refresh your mouth. Then there is a heading about health and hygienic measures in public places. For example, although in the past it was not like today that they had washrooms, public washrooms, or even some places they didn't have washroom at home. Still in some places of the world, they don't have a specific place. But Islam was very, very particular about this, that people should be very careful about public places, about passages, about their home, and everything should be kept as clean as possible, and especially not to pollute, not to make dirty water, and trees, for example, that are in gardens, for fruits and things like this. Another topic is about containers. So Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says that qaslul ina, washing the containers, and also wa kashul fana. Kashul fana. Fana is the entrance of the door. We say وَعَلَى الْأَرْوَاحِ الَّتِي حَلَّتْ بِفِنَائِكَ, the entrance. So to wash your containers like dish and pot, and to clean the entrance of home. Imam alayhi salam says مَجْلَبَةٌ لِلرِّزْقِ, brings more sustenance to you. So we have lots of things about keeping containers clean. If you have, for example, a jar of water, don't leave it open. So put something to close. And also, if you have containers, put them upside down so that no dust or germ goes inside. Another thing is about removing rubbish from home, that you should not leave rubbish at home overnight, and you have to remove them. Another thing is about water. If water is used already, then don't use it twice. For example, saying that, okay, now I can use this that I have used for, I don't know, washing, for example, something, then I use it for washing another thing again. No. Then there is a section about washrooms and how we should observe cleanliness of washroom. Then we have a section in this chapter about health of the mind, or you can say mental or psychological health, which is also very important. It's not only physical health that we are concerned about. And in this discussion, Ayatollah Jawadi Amuli talks about the cleanliness or health of aql, intellect, and also heart. So we discussed two things: how to make sure that your reason, your intellect, your aql is in good shape and form. It's not suffering from some illnesses, some impurities, and also about your heart. For today, I just mentioned the first part of this discussion about some factors that lead to damage of intellect, lead to weakening of our intellect. One is becoming drunk. Drinking alcohol and wine is very much harmful for your body, but also for your reasoning. You are not able to consider things properly. And this is a scientific fact. This is not something that Muslims say. This is something that, even in societies that they have no religious issue with alcohol, but they say that you have to avoid drinking alcohol if you are on job, if you are driving, and so on and so forth. So it's important to remember that we should not eat or drink or do anything that would reduces our ability to discern, our ability to evaluate, our ability to judge. There is a hadith from Imam Raza alayhi salam, حرم الله الخمر. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prohibited khamr, wine, لما فيها من الفساد, because of the corruption that is there in wine. ومن تغييرها عقول الشاربيها, and also because it affects the intellect of those who drink it. So we have to avoid khamr. But also we have to avoid sins, because sins also cause some kind of a state which is like being drunk. A person who is drunk doesn't understand properly, underestimates dangers. The same can happen when a person is committing sins. Imam Ali alayhi salam said, ينبغي للعاقل أن يحترس من سكر المال وسكر القدرة وسكر العلم وسكر المدح وسكر الشباب. Every rational person should be very careful and should avoid few kind of drunkenness. One is the one which is caused by mal, by money. The one is caused by power. Sometimes people who have power, they are not able to understand. ilm, knowledge. I have degree, I have certificate, I have, people respect me, this man is PhD or this and that. So this can cause problem if I'm not careful. Or madh, if people praise me. If people keep praising me and I've become popular, then it may cause drunkenness. And shabab, when you are very young, when from childhood you grow and all of a sudden you become bigger and your muscles are stronger, you have more power, more independence. If you are not able to develop at the same time rationality and humility, then you become very proud, and this pride can be like a kind of drunkenness. Of course, later you become more humble, and you would see that still you need your parents, still you need lots of other people to help you, still you have limits. But at the beginning there is a worry that this sudden increase in your power and ability to move and do things then might make you like a person who is drunk. So aqil should avoid all these things. فَإِنَّ لِكُلِّ ذَلِكَ رِيَاحًا خَبِيثَةً تَسْلُبُ الْعَقْلَ وَتَسْتَخِفُّ الْوَقَارَ. All of these have a kind of fragrance, a kind of rih means like fragrance or wind. Means a kind translation here is fragrance. Has a kind of bad fragrance that can have bad impact on aql, and also can weaken your waqar. Waqar means to be very dignified, to speak, to see, to walk with dignity, with prestige. The people who become drunk because of power or money or youths or being praised, then they may lose that kind of dignified position. So we have to avoid sins and anything that can affect our aql. There is a hadith also that it is very beautiful that Imam Kazim alayhi salam said, من سلط ثلاثا على ثلاث فكأنما أعان على حتم عقله. This hadith is in Al-Kafi, and this is famous hadith of Imam Kazim to Hisham ibn Hakam. And Alhamdulillah, we had tawfiq to have 11 sessions on this hadith in the shrine of Lady Ma'suma. It's online. Imam Kazim on intellect. Man sallata thalathan ala thalath. The one who makes three things dominant over other three things. فَكَأَنَّمَا أَعَانَ عَلَى حَدْمِ عَقْلِهِ. He has helped or she has helped against his or her own aql, means has helped destruction of his or her own aql. So if you make three things dominant over other three things, you have contributed to destruction of your aql. من أظلم نور تفكره بطول أمله. The one who darkens the light of his thinking with having long desires, means unrealistic desires, unrealistic ambitions, things which are not rational to expect, still they want it. So this darkens nura tafakkureh, the light of his thinking. So don't make tulul amal work against light of your thinking. 2. وَمَحَى طَرَائِفَ حِكْمَتِهِ بِفُضُولِ كَلَامِهِ. The one who removes and wipes out beautiful, wise ideas that he has by speaking too much. If we speak too much, even if we say something nice, if we say something wise, then it would not be taken seriously. وأطفأ نور عبرته بشهوات نفسه, and extinguishes the light of ibrah. Ibrah means the ability to take lessons from what is happening for us or for other people. So this is a very important part of our success, that if we can take lessons and learn so that in future we do better or we don't repeat mistakes that we or other people have done. But if someone has shahawat, has appetites and lower desires and follows them, then he would not be able to take lessons. He would make the same mistakes that others have done or he has done in the past. Why? Because he gets some little pleasure, some instant satisfaction, so he wants to have that, but unfortunately the cost is that he makes mistakes and then he would suffer, he would lose much more than he gained. Another thing is ujb, self-admiration. عجب المرء بنفسه أحد حصاد عقله. If someone is very pleased with himself or herself, in akhlaq we have discussed this a lot in, for example, discussion about 40 hadith. There was a hadith about ujb and we discussed this. To be pleased with yourself, to admire yourself, this is very dangerous. And here, hadith from Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam in Nahj al-Balagha says, Ahadu hussad aql. This is one of the things which are jealous about your aql. Means they don't like your aql to be there. Because a jealous person is the one who likes the other person towards whom he has jealousy lose the blessing that he has. For example, if I am jealous because someone has a good job, it means that I want him to lose. If someone has respect and I am jealous, I want him to lose. The focus is not that I want to have it for myself, something similar or better. The focus is that I don't want that person to have it. So, ujb is jealous towards aql. Doesn't want aql to remain in charge and function. Another thing is to be with ignorant people, people who have no knowledge or wisdom. Man sahiba jahilan naqasa min aqlih. Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam says, the one who gives company to ignorant people, naqasa min aqlih. He loses something from his intellect. His intellect is in loss or is in decline. Whoever accompanies an ignorant person, his intellect would be in loss, would be reduced. Another thing that can be an obstacle for our aql is not listening, not paying attention to the advice of wise people. For example, hadith says from Amir al-Mu'minin, Man taraka al-istima'a min dhawi al-uqul mata aqluh. Man taraka al-istima'a min dhawi al-uqul mata aqluh. The one who stops listening to people who have wisdom, who have intellect, who are rational people. If you don't listen to them, mata aqluh. His or her intellect has died. So it means that taking advice of wise people revives our intellect, keeps it going on, but if we don't listen, we are damaging. Another thing is speaking too much. So this can damage our intellect, and also making lots of jokes, to be too much humorous. To be humorous is good, but to make too much jokes, then this is not good. Man kathura mizahuhu. Man kathura mizahuhu. This is in Qurar al-Hikam by Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam. Whoever makes lots of jokes, his jokes are a lot, ustuhmiqah. And if you want to connect, you say, Man kathura mizahuhu ustuhmiqah. means he would be counted and considered by people as someone who is fool, someone who is, ahmaq, is not able to understand, stupid. Because if you make lots of humorous comments and lots of jokes, people may not appreciate. People may not see the value in what you say. They think you are never serious. Yes, sometimes people know you and you are, for example, a person that people take your jokes also seriously. They know that there is something there, But if you just say something baseless and just something to make people laugh, and little by little you become just like, a person who is never taken seriously. Another thing is poverty. Poverty is something that we don't welcome. Poverty is not necessarily a sign of having no dignity. No, many poor people are very honorable and dignified. Many poor people are very pious and religious. But Islamically, we don't volunteer for poverty. We don't encourage people to be poor because of many reasons. And one reason is that there are people, whether you like it or not in the society, that when you are poor, they don't give you enough respect. They may even deny you fair treatment. They may deny you equal opportunities. So a mu'min should not stop working and generating wealth. You don't want to have luxurious life, that's good. You don't want to be, for example, keeping lots of money for yourself, that's good. But you have to make money. You have to be productive, but at the same time, it's better if you choose a simple life. So poverty is something that can create problem for you. So there is a hadith from Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam to his son, Ya bunayya, my dear son, man ibtuliya bil faqr faqad ibtuliya bi arba'i khisal. The one who is tested with poverty is suffering from four things, four qualities. بالضعف في يقينه. His certainty would be weak because little by little, Shaitan may say, you have put your trust in God, you say God is Razzaq, why you don't have it? Of course, he doesn't think that he is maybe responsible or other people maybe are responsible, but little by little this can damage his yaqeen. وَالنُّقْصَانِ فِي عَقْلِهِ. And also it can cause a kind of loss or decrease in his or her intellect. وَالرِّقَّةِ فِي دِينِهِ. And also weakness in his faith. وَقِلَّةِ الْحَيَاءِ فِي وَجْهِهِ. Also this may cause that he would not have positive shame and maybe doesn't bother asking people, begging people and this and that. فَنَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الْفَقْرِ. So we seek refuge from Allah. We seek refuge with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about poverty. So we are not saying that this is necessarily happening. We don't say that majority of poor are like this, but this is very likely unless you are a very pious and careful poor person who is doing his best but still doesn't have money. If you want to consider the majority, the average, then there is this risk. We are not talking about exceptions or minority. In large, there is such a risk that when you are poor, you may suffer in your faith, in your social relation, and so on and so forth. It's also said that تَرْكُ التِّجَارَةِ يَنْقُصُ الْعَقْلِ. If you don't do trade, if you don't do business, also this can affect your aql. Maybe trade and business is a good way of not only making your halal income, but also get experience, travel, meet people. Lots of experience you can gain in this. Eating meat too much affects negatively your aql. Al-iktharu, Imam Raza alayhi salam says, Al-iktharu min luhum al-wahsh wal-baqar يورث تغيير العقل وتحير الفهم وتبلد الذهن وكثرة النسيان. If you eat meat of wild animals, like for example animals that are halal but not very domestic, like maybe for example deer and things like that, or cow, eating meat of cow a lot leads to transformation of your aql and confusion and not being sharp in your understanding and forgetting a lot. So not to eat too much meat, especially meat of cow and some animals. But on the other hand, not to eat meat at all is not also good. So Imam Sadiq alayhi salam said, Man taraka al-lahma 40 sabahan. If someone for 40 days doesn't eat meat at all, sa'a khuluquh, he would then have bad temper, his akhlaq would be bad. Wa fasada aqluh, and his ability to reason, his intellect also would be harmed, would be damaged. So not to stop altogether eating meat, but not to eat meat also too much, especially some types of meat. Inshallah, next session we will talk about factors that help with our intellectual capacity. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to enable us to have all aspects of our life in the way that He is pleased with and in the way that His prophets and messengers have taught us. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for shifa for all people who are ill. We ask rahman, maghfirah for all who have passed away, especially those who have rights upon us. We have also to remember in these days and nights our parents. May Allah bless your parents. If they are alive, may Allah bless them with health and dignified life and comfort and happiness. And if they have passed away, may Allah, inshallah, treat them with maximum mercy and forgiveness and reward them on our behalf for everything good that they have done for us. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillah rabbil alameen.